Much like in a FromSoft game, when the enemy's about to attack you, you have to press B and then release B, and then the character will dodge. This immediately adds more input delay. So I don't know why every game trying to be like FromSoft has to completely emulate that delay input style.
So apparently Elden Ring and other From Software games have input delay now. I don't know what the hell DSP is talking about, but today we'll take a look at his latest claims that all From Software games have input delay. Now let me catch you up on what happened. He was playing a Souls-like, but it wasn't Elden Ring, it was actually another Crab's Treasure, which, believe it or not, is actually a pretty fun Souls-like. I just started playing it, and even though the art style is very cartoony, the combat is pretty fun with a little bit of extra platforming. So he was playing that game, and he was getting absolutely curb stomped by the first optional boss, which is pretty much this game's version of the Tree Sentinel. And of course, instead of just accepting blame that he was just learning the mechanics, he had to bitch and complain. And his new thing is that all From Software games have input delay. So take a look at what he said, and then we'll dissect it and we'll figure out if that's true or not.
Another thing that I wish they didn't do, much like in Dark Souls, in order to do anything in this game, you have to release the button for it to take effect. What does that mean? Well, for example, if you're playing a different video game, and you have your controller in hand and you want to dodge, oh, here comes the enemy, press B. And the moment you press B, your character moves out of the way. In another Crab's Treasure, much like in a FromSoft game, when the enemy's about to attack you, you have to press B and then release B, and then the character will dodge. This immediately adds more input delay to your move. So because of that, you actually have to be more predicting of what the enemy's going to do rather than reacting. And that's annoying. I would much rather react, like have good hand-eye coordination and react to an attack to dodge it, than know what the animation looks like so I can recognize the timing so I can do the dodge early in order to get out of the way. For example, that first optional boss that I fought was so annoying to beat because I couldn't just dodge things on reaction. So I had to play him for about 15 minutes to have seen all of his attacks, know how all of them hit, know the variations of each attack, because sometimes it'll look like he's going to slam once, but then he slams 3 times instead. Like, you just have to sit there and learn everything before you have a chance.
Just as a clarification for those who haven't played the game, the boss in question has 6 attacks, and they're very telegraphed. So even if there were input delay, they don't come out very quick, and you can see it coming every single time. And it's only 6 attacks to remember, so it wouldn't take like 30 minutes to learn the pattern. I just want to fact check him. Let's keep listening.
In other games where things are just on reaction, you can get your move to come out. You don't need to memorize. Instead, you could just play well and beat things for a shot. There are other games that are considered Souls-like games, like the Neo series, that just give you your move the second you press the button. And there's nothing wrong with the Neo series. It's good. So I don't know why every game trying to be like FromSoft has to completely emulate that delay input style. I actually think that's very annoying. And those are just my pet peeves with the game so far. A little bit of wonkiness in the platforming.
Alright, so this was literally the first time that I ever heard someone complain about input delays when you're talking about a FromSoft game. Because FromSoft games are notorious for having amazing controls, and you're always in control of your character. So I was thinking to myself, am I smoking crack? Is he smoking crack? Someone has to be smoking crack because this doesn't make any sense. So I booted up Elden Ring and I tried it for myself. Maybe I was missing something. So I started dodging and I realized something real quick. There's no input delay. You hit the circle and right away your character dodges. Now he was saying it only activates once you release the circle. Well, that's because if you hold the circle, that's how you run. And if you're standing still, you're just going to backstep. Then he was making the comparison that with the Neo games, when you press circle, you dodge right away. But that's because in the Neo games, run is dedicated to the X button. Because in Elden Ring, the X button is for jump, Neo doesn't have jumps, so that's how you did it. So it's really brain dead, this argument that there's input lag, because I've tried it and I don't see any input lag whatsoever. I've never heard anybody complain about it. People are always complaining about input reading, and that might be a valid criticism, but input lag is just laughable. Even if there was a difference between the time you hit it and the time you release it, when you're not planning on holding it and you're just pressing it, that would be nanoseconds. That wouldn't even be noticeable. What it seems, it looks like this idiot is once again just making excuses for being dog shit at a game. I mean, why not just own up to your mistakes? Say, you know what, it took me longer to learn it than I thought, but now I got a hang of it and I was able to beat the boss after 45 tries. No, he has to make excuses and pretend that From Software games have input lag, which is completely ridiculous. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Let me know if you guys have ever noticed any input lag in From Software games, because I definitely haven't. But while you're here, I wanted to give you guys also an update on the channel, because you may or may not have noticed, but I haven't posted in 2 months. So what's happening is this. I've been extremely busy on my other channels. I just recently received the silver play button for hitting 100,000 subscribers on the main one, and that has been keeping me extremely occupied. But when it comes to the gaming channel, of course, Elden Ring is coming up, and I want to make content that I really enjoy, because I don't do this channel for money. It's just for fun. My other channels are taking care of the bills. So when I come here, I want to make content that I really enjoy, just like roasting absolute dumb journalist takes like we just saw with this guy. So when Elden Ring drops, I have a couple ideas of types of videos I'm going to post, and it's probably going to be analyzing the dumbest journalists takes or the dumbest reviews, either by skill up or I find someone is gonna say some dumb shit, and that's the type of content I enjoy posting. I don't think there's any point in making guides, because channels like Fextra Life and the Fighting Cowboy are going to get the game a week or two earlier anyways and make a bunch of guides to release on day one. I don't think it's my best skill to make lore videos. There's YouTubers like Ziostorm and Vadi that have that covered, and it's not really my best interest or my biggest focus when I play these games. And PvP guides are not really my thing either. There's a bunch of other YouTubers that take care of that. So I'm just going to do the type of videos that really entertain me, which is roasting absolute dog shit footage or dumb takes from journalists. And of course, most importantly is the news cycle. Right now, we know what we need to know about the Elden Ring DLC. We know when it's coming. We've seen footage. There's not much to talk about. But what I absolutely love making videos on is the leaks, when we can predict what's going on next with From Software, because they are extremely cryptic. They don't like to be that much open and upfront until they are 100% ready to show you something, and I love speculating and finding a little bit of news and breadcrumbs on what From Software is doing next. So once there's any leaks regarding From Software, you best believe I'll make a video on it, but besides that, that's probably just going to be it. And at the same time, the difference between being a gamer and a YouTuber that makes content on video games, I feel like when you pick up a new game and you're making content on it, you kind of rush through it because you just want to show as much content as possible and make the most relevant video. And it kind of takes the joy out of the game because you know that you have to rush through it as quick as possible. So I'm looking forward to enjoying Shadow of the Erdtree just at a regular pace like everybody else, and from time to time roasting a dumb journalist. So hopefully, if that sounds good to you, you're going to stay subscribed or subscribe for the first time. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you on the next one.